Welcome students, this is Mr. Ndabezita once again, and we are in a console application this time. So we will be continuing with our console application. So I will just quickly go to Visual Studio, click on that, and we are not going to look at the Windows form, we will be looking at a console application. And we will give this the name of overriding the base class method. It is the lesson for the day. So let me just say overriding base class method. So this is just to say we are continuing with object-oriented programming. This is exactly what we are doing. But I will try by all means that when I post my videos, I will try to number them from 1 to the last video so that you know how to follow these tutorials in a sequential form. I think that will be very helpful. Now, the very first thing that we have always been doing, or that we will always do, is to have a main. We always try to create a main. So we will have a namespace and we will use X for that, and then we will have a class, and this class, okay, let me just, okay, it looks like the, okay, I will just have the namespace. There it is. I will call that X, and I will have a class. I will call the class P, and then I will have a static void main string of array arguments. Right, let me just correct this just to say this is the main. Okay, everything is fine. So what we can do, I normally write this with small letters, so ARGS. Very good. Now we are going to create a class outside of this main, this namespace. So we will just add a new item, and let's just call this class by the name of a student. So for a time being, let's just use the name student. All right, that is fine. So we have this, we will just end our class. Very good. So there are some few things that we will have inside of this class. We will have some few fields. So the first one will be a private, it will be a constant, and it will be of type double, and it will be the rate. And because it's a constant, we will immediately assign it a value of 55.75. Very good. And the other one will be a private, it will be of type string, and it will be the name of this student. And then we will have a protected. We dealt with a protected member. You know that it can be accessible in this class and outside of the class, that inherits from the student. We dealt with that in the previous tutorial. You can just go and check it out. So protected int, we have the credits, and I'm not assigning values to this. And we have a protected, it will be of type double, and this will be the tuition of this certain individual. Right, and for the name, because it's private, I will have a property to access that. So the property will always be public. It will be of type string because the name is of a string type, and I will call that name. So am I creating an auto implemented property here? Oh, that's fine. We can just say sorry, we can just say get return the private member that is name. Very good. And I can set the name private member is equals to the value that has to be accepted, and I'm not setting any restrictions on that because it's just a name. I'm getting the name and I'm just setting the name, right? That it's fine. We have this property here, so let me just check end property. Okay, that is fine. So this is, I can, okay, no, let me not do that. Okay, that is fine. We have this property, that's fine. We have a get and a set. So we also have a credit, which is a protected member. So I will just have a public, I will have a virtual method, because the first occurrence of a method, but this time it's not a method, it's the property. Now the first occurrence of a property that I know that it will be overridden, I will say that it is virtual. Okay, let's just read something that might give us an idea as to what I'm going to do here. So they say overriding the base class methods, and so we are overriding the base class methods. All right, when you create a derived class by extending an existing class, the new derived class contains data and methods that were defined in the original base class. We dealt with this in the past 2 tutorials, if I'm not mistaken, and I explained and I showed clearly exactly what is happening there. Sometimes the superclass field properties and methods are not entirely appropriate for the subclasses. That is true. We don't want to inherit everything, or maybe they are not appropriate in the way in which we want to display data. This is one way of saying that. Using the same method or property name to indicate different implementations is called polymorphism. We will be dealing with this in this tutorial. The principle of polymorphism. Now, the word polymorphism means many forms. So one thing taking many forms. All right, it means that many forms of actions takes place even though you use the same method name. So this is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to use the same method name but override these methods so that they can have a specific functionality and detail in what we want. Okay, that is fine. And then they say you understand each of these methods based on the context in which it is used. This is very true. So in a similar way, C# understands your use of the same method name based on the type of the object associated with that. Okay, that is fine. We have a public virtual, and it will be of type int, and this will be the credit. Very good. So in this credit, what we will have a get and a set. Now, so it will get the private member, there it is, sorry, the protected member, there it is, and then it will set that. Now once that has been set, okay, let me do this. Once that has been set, I want to say the tuition will be equals to the credit, and then I will multiply that by the rate. So what am I saying in here? Okay, let me not make this as lengthy as you see it. I want you to see everything very well. Let me do this. Let me close that. Okay, sorry, it's still loading. That's fine. So let me close this. So we will have, let me do this, get, there is a get, we will have a set, that sets everything to a value. So what is happening here? Okay, in this public virtual int credit, what is this? This is a protected member. And the first occurrence, what is this? What do we know about this? This is a property and it's virtual and it's public. So I can access the protected member credit outside of this class. I know that is possible. I needed not to do that, but I want to show you why I'm doing this. I will get and I will return the protected member. That's fine. I will set the credit is equals to value that you set. Do I have any credits? No, so it will be equals to the value. And the tuition, once that has been done, I want it to calculate the tuition for this student. The tuition equals the credit that you will provide, and then it will multiply that by the rate. We already have that, and it will assign that to the tuition of this student. Okay, that is fine. I hope that we have understood what is happening there. Now when that is done, what is it I want? I just want to have a public. I want to have a public which will be of type double, and this will be called tuition. Right. So what is this again? It's a property. It is a property, but I just want to have a get here. And I don't want you to set anything here. I just want to have a get. So it will just get the value that is inside of the tuition, because you will do what? Remember, you have calculated the tuition here being equals to that, and where are you going to get that tuition? Let's check. The tuition here, it is a protected double. There it is. And then we are therefore saying here that the tuition is equals to the credit multiplied by the rate, and then it will store that inside of the tuition. And then I'm having a property only with a get, and then I'm just saying that return the tuition. Very, very important. Okay, there are no constructors here. This is just something simple that we are having. All right, be that as it may, okay, there's something here. We have a get, return that. Yes, so we are just fine. Okay, everything is fine, no problem with this. So once that has been done, it is very important that we understand the following. A virtual method, let me come here. A virtual method or property, in this case it is a property, it has a get and a set. So a virtual method or property is one that can be overridden by a method with the same signature in a class. So this will be overridden by a method in a different class that has the same signature. Okay, that is fine. Now let's continue with this. Now that I have a student as a class, allow me to come here and to create another class, and this one I will call that the scholarship student. Right, this is the class that I have created, and this will inherit from a student. Very good. So by inheritance, we know all the public fields, all the methods, all the properties that are public, and everything that is public will be inherited. Okay, that is fine. Now what is it that I want? Now let me just take this and just say end class, and this one we know it's end the namespace. So right, again the namespace inside of this scholarship class is the same as the namespace in the student class, hence I was able to inherit that. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. So I want you to check something. So the namespace here is the same as the namespace there. Very important. Okay, so I want to override, because I have a method. Please check. I have the first occurrence of a virtual public I have a virtual property that I want to override when I am in this scholarship class. All right, so because that method will be overridden, when I come here, you say override public int, and what is it that I want to override? Here it is, credits. So it has the same signature. Okay, let me just do this. Right, let me just get rid. It was very forward. It was too forward for me. Right, I have a property in student class. Where is the property? Here it is, and it's public. The first occurrence was in this student class. This property first occurs in this student class. Now because the same property now wants to occur in this class, it must be overridden because there's inheritance taking place. Now I'm saying public override, and the signature is the same. Let's check. Right, let's check. It's public virtual int credits. So it's public. That one also is public. We override. It's an int, and it has the same method property name. It has the same property name. So this is what we mean when we say it must have the same signature. Right, so I have this public, I have this override. Let me say, let me do it in this way. Let me say override public int credits. All right, and then when I'm there, okay, I had already done this. Okay, let me just get rid of those ones. All right, now remember inside here, I had only a get, but inside of this one I don't want to have a get because I already have it in the first occurrence of this property. On the side, I want to override the set. Now the set, I will say in the set block, I will say credits. Now which one am I now using? This one. Why this one? Because it's protected. Let's go and check credits. Let's go and check credits in here. It is protected. So I know that outside of this class I can use it if it is inherited, it is a member of the family. Hence when I am here, there it is. So I want to say the credit will be, of course, equals, just press on the tab. Okay, credit is equals to the value that you will set. And then once you have set that, I want the tuition inside of this class to be 0. So when you use this class, when you create an object of this class, it will initialize tuition with a value of 0. All right, that is fine. Now we understand that. Now let's just read some few notes. In C sharp you can either use in C sharp you can use either the new or the override when defining a derived class member that has the same name as the base class member. So we can use the word override, we can say override, or we can say new. Very important. So we can interchangeably use these names. So I'm not going to say new, I'm going to say override. Very well. And what is it that I'm overriding here? I know the set because I have a get in the student class. The set will be equals to that. So in this class, the tuition is 0. That is fine, no problem. In the child class, in the child, which is this one, the scholarship student, the credit property is declared with the override modifier. This is exactly what we did. This property is declared with the override modifier. Okay, because it has the same header, that is the same signature, the same name, and the parameter list. We have already dealt with that as a property in its parent class from the original one where it has inherited. The credit property overrides and hides its counterpart in the parent class. So when you use the override here, this property will hide this one. It will hide this one. It will hide the property where it was inherited. This is exactly what we are doing. When you say override, so the credits property will override or will hide the parent credit property. This is exactly what is happening. The simplest way of understanding that. Please, let's not go any deeper with this. The credits property overrides and hides its counterpart parent class. You could do the same with the methods, of course. If you omit override, the program will still operate correctly, but you will receive a warning that you are hiding an inherited member with the same name in the base class. Let's check if that is true. Suppose I don't use this and I just continue like this. There's no error, but let's hover over this. Right. It says now scholarship student.credits hides the inherited member student.credits. To make the current member override that implementation, add the override keyword or otherwise add the new keyword. So there's a warning that is provided to us to say now the scholarship student.credits you are hiding, it hides the inherited member student.credit. And is this intentional? Did you intend to do this? Yes. Therefore, let's add the override keyword. Now everything is fine. Okay, we are just trying to read with understanding and trying to see what is happening, because this is what coding is all about. Reading with understanding and applying that to see whether you have understood. English also plays a significant role here. You must be able to get distinctions in your English so that you know how to read and to understand. Reading with understanding, it's green pasture. Right, we will now go to the main. This is where everything is happening when you are in the heat of the main, and we are here in the main. And then the very first thing that we want to do now, we want to create an object of the student. So I will say student, and it has auto imported that for me. It has auto imported that for me. So I will have student, and I will say this is the paying. Sorry, let me say this is the paying. This is the paying student equals new student. Very good. Right, here we are. That is fine. And once that has been done, there's something that tells us to do something. The new expression can be simplified. Show potential fixes. It always wants to fix something. I don't know why, but it always does. Okay, fix, that's fine. If that makes you happy, very good. And then when we are there, we have just now created the object of the student, which we call paying student. Okay, it wants to fix something again. Let's find out. Unnecessary assignment of a value to paying student. This one, please don't fix. Please do not. You have done enough for now. Right, secondly, what we want to do, we want to create a scholarship object, which we will call a free student. So this one goes to university and gets to pay nothing. Okay, and then this is equals to new. It will always want to fix this one. You know, most it will always do that, and we can always allow that to happen. So what we can just simply do, because we know how it does that, we can do it on its behalf. All right, now the first thing, I want to go to paying student, which is my object, and press the dot. First of all, I want to set the name, and now look what is made available. It's only a property that is made available because this is a private member. So I will say the name of this individual, it's Papa Fanzo. So Papa Fanzo pays a lot. So this will be Papa Fanzo, and let's just go inside of the student and check. So the name there, it is private. I cannot access the name, only via a public property that will be made possible. All right, everything is well, everything is fine. The paying student name is Papa Fanzo. Okay, and then let's go to the credits of Papa Fanzo. Paying student dot credits. Again, when you go, you will only have access to the property and the credit. Let's say this is 50. So let's go again in the students and look at the credit. It is protected. It is protected, remember, and I cannot assign it a value in here. Now let me show you something. We have a protected member, which is a small credit. So when you create an object in here, you will not be able to access that because it is protected. So you will have access to that inside of another class, but when you are here, you cannot have access to that. Hence we created a property credits, and we set this to 15. Let's go to the student and look at credit. We created a public we created a public property that gets and sets what now in the credit. What it will do, it will set the credit to a value that you have assigned. This is exactly what we have done, but when you are in this class, the tuition will be calculated by credits multiplied by the rate. So here we are setting the credit via a what now, a property, via a property, a public property, and it's virtual because it will be overridden, so therefore it is virtual. And what is this? It is a public property that will be overridden. Very important stuff. We need to understand these things thoroughly. Okay, there we are fine. Those are the two things that we wanted to do. Let's go to this free student who get everything for free, and let's set the name for this individual. And suppose the name of the individual is my son, which is Paul. So Paul gets to get everything free because I am the one paying for the fees, so there's nothing free in that sense. So okay, that is fine. So student.name equals Paul, and then we want again to go to free state dot. So let me not say this, sorry, let me just say this is a free student. Sorry for that. So where did I get this free state? Free student, and that's the name. That's fine. And then let's go to credits, and we will set the credit again to the number 15. That it's fine. And then once that has been done, let me just come here and just say using static system dot console. All right, and then once that is done, I just want to have a write line, and in this write line, one thing that I want to say is 0 tuition is, and then I will have that, and then let me just have some space, and then I will say paying student dot let me just have the name, comma, and then I will have paying student dot tuition. Okay, no, and then that is fine. So this is the first write line I will have, so that is fine. So tuition, let me check. Tuition, it's the credits multiplied by the rate, so it will take the credits, let's check, it will take the credits 15 and multiply that by the rate, this, and then it has to return that. So that needs to be returned. Let's just say dot to string with some currency symbol attached to that. All right, I can just copy this and paste, and then in this case I don't want to say paying, I just want to look for a free student dot name, and free student dot tuition dot to string. Now what is going to happen here when I am in, we know exactly what is going to happen in this class. Okay, it will take the value of the name, assign that, it will assign credits via a property. That's what exactly we have done. It's equals to the value. That's fine, there is no restrictions. And then how will it calculate the tuition? It will take the credits that you have set via the property and multiply that by a constant 55.75, and it will tell you what the tuition is. And then public double tuition, which is this property, it will get the tuition, right? That is fine. So this is just a property. Let me come here. Sorry, did I use that? Yes, I used it. I used a property here. Very, very important. I have used a property here, because where was it defined? It was defined inside of the student. Here it is. It is defined inside the student class, and because it is public, I will get that. You will not set tuition, you can only get that tuition. And then did you have the tuition to get that tuition? Yes, remember the tuition here, it will be the credits multiplied by the rate. So you already have that tuition, So once that tuition has been set, it will get that tuition. All right, now let's check what is going to happen inside the scholarship class now. Public override int credits. Why am I overriding here? I have a public virtual, the first occurrence of a property, which is credit. I have the get and set, but when I am in here, I want to override the set. Where is the set? I want to override this. Now, once you have calculated the tuition for the class, but when you go to scholarship class, your tuition has to be 0. So there is no scholarship for the object of the scholarship. There is no tuition for scholarship student. And then remember, let me go to this. Scholarship student is a free student who doesn't pay any tuition. Hence in here I am saying override tuition and make that tuition 0. So because you are a free student, hence I needed to create a set and override this credit. I wanted to override this credit that is inside here because this student pays tuition, but a free student doesn't have to pay tuition. So I have made this credit to be virtual. And then when you create the object here, that tuition should be 0 because you are a free student. You are a free student. Your tuition has to be 0. I hope you understand this. So let's just run the code and see what is happening. So Papa Fanzo's tuition, it's 836 rand 25. So what it did to calculate this, it took the remember the calculation, it's in here. So what it did, it took the credits. What is your credit? It took your credits, which is 15, and it multiplied these credits by 55.75, and we got 836 rand 25. But for Paul, which is a free student, Paul's tuition is $0. You don't pay any tuition. And how is that possible? Here it is. The tuition is 0. So I hope that you have understood what we were trying to do in this tutorial. I think I will see you in the next tutorial.